Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Jai Gurudev. So we go with the attitude of a bhakta. So we understood that the recognition of Ishvara is important for us to be a karma yogi, right? I'm actually going to read from here because I realized that it is very important for us to understand how our raga dveshas work. And it's not just physical, it's not just preference for a certain thing, it's not just preference for tea, coffee, or getting those desires fulfilled, but it's also psychological. And these raga dveshas can be, we may be aware of them, some of them may be completely in the subconscious or the unconscious phase. And it's only when we are exposed to certain situations that they rise up. So they're deeply embedded within us. And we have thousands and thousands of them. So being aware of these and how they function, how they crop up. So let's just read this one more time before we go further. The explanation for human suffering. So the question was whether, I hope everyone is on the same page, otherwise we'll move forward, but I thought maybe it's good for us to understand this before going further. So we see there's a lot of disparity in the world, right? There's someone who's created lame, the other person is blind, one person has everything. So then I'm told he's the Lord God is justified in whatever he does, and I'm supposed to love him. How can I? Is the question. When I look at this creation with so much human suffering, so God's compassion falls apart for me. So when we are faced with this conflict in our mind, how is he all compassionate when he's creating when there is so much disparity? The answer is that the answer to all of this is that not only is he the creator, he is also the creation. The individual jiva is non-separate from and therefore not different from Parameshwara. It's not just like an artist who creates a painting. He has not just created the painting, he is the painting. So, where is the question of him having prejudice or having no compassion? The individual self, Atma, is Brahman, and therefore all that is there is the Atma that is Brahman. The Atma, the Jiva, is not created. When you say a person is created, it is only with reference to a given physical body at a given time. The Jiva is due to ignorance alone, and ignorance being beginningless, the Jiva is beginningless, Anadi. The subtle and gross bodies, Sukshma and Stula Shariras, are born in the sense that the subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, always adapts itself to the gross body, Stula Sharira. We also find that the Sukshma Sharira is always in keeping with the Stula Sharira it adapts itself to. Thus, only a cat's Sukshma Sharira is present in a cat's body and not a human Sukshma Sharira. Otherwise, the cat will not mew at you. It will talk to you saying, "Come on, it's morning, get up." We find that in this world of living beings, in each unit of creation, there is a Sthula Sharira, which is in keeping with one's karma phala. Ishvara, defined as the karma phala data, is not to blame. Nor do you need to justify Ishvara's action either. To do so would only be justifying your own. You did it and you got it. You asked for it. You have had it. And you have it also. You will continue to have it because you keep asking for it. Therefore, no one else is responsible for what comes to you. Every jiva is responsible for what that person is. This is the kind of responsibility that is assumed by the jiva here. You have a capacity, a free will to perform action. You can do whatever you want to do, but the result is always something that is taken care of by the law, that is Ishvara. We'll just stop here a while. So there are a few important things here. So why is there so much of human suffering? Why is there so much of disparity? God is not just the creator, he is also the creation. And Atma, Jiva, and Brahman are not different. The self Atma, sorry. The self Atma is Brahman. And actually, the essence of Jiva is nothing but Brahman. That's why Shankara says, Jivo Brahmaiva na paraha. It's only that out of ignorance, the jiva considers himself limited. It is only due to ignorance which is beginningless. So you cannot pinpoint and say this is where ignorance began. It is anadi. And then another thing is that every gross body is associated with a subtle body. And this gross body is born in the sense, again, it is born as though born because of ignorance, and every gross body is associated with its sukshma sharira. And the sukshma sharira is always in keeping with the stula sharira. And the example of the cat. So, in a cat's stula sharira, stula is the gross body, only the cat's sukshma sharira will be there.
Ajnana is anadi.
Mm-hmm.
Means Brahma is means that Brahman is anadi, but because of the Maya, Ajnana came. So it cannot be anadi, is it?
Why? Why can it not be anadi? It's like darkness. Where
Hmm.
did darkness begin?
Mhm. Okay.
Can you say where darkness began?
No. But when Jiva, that for Jiva, that Atma is there, but Parabrahma means Paramatma is different. For Jiva, Atma means that for that body, like a pot, that pot exists, like that body exists. So that Atma is there, but Paramatma is ever always there.
The Atma, Paramatma is like the space in the pot. That space is all pervading, it's always there. Pot comes and goes.
From the
Pot,
mud pot, you can also make toys. And so that is already inherently present in you. Only you are not aware of it. Similarly, the Jivatma is not aware of it, that it is the essence of Brahma.
So there is Ajnana then, no? So starting is with that pot, that Ajnana comes, isn't, no, means I'm not clear for this. When the pot is,
what is the question? I didn't understand.
means is the Ajnana Anadi? Means we can say Ishvara or Paramatma is Anadi, but Ajnana is created afterwards because of the Maya. Means Maya comes and then body comes, means whatever that. And then Ajnana. No.
Maya is the sum total of ignorance is nothing but Maya. See, go back to our Tattva board where we learned um, Brahma Maya Kidrishi Brahmashraya Maya. So Maya is something that is dependent on Brahma. It is an offshoot from Brahma. So Brahma, of course, is Anadi. Anadi, Ananta, and he has no destruction. Whereas ignorance, although it does not have a beginning, how can you say ignorance has a beginning? Which means before ignorance, there must have been something. There must have been knowledge. So if there is knowledge, ignorance cannot be there. But our experience is that we have ignorance. Absence of knowledge is ignorance, right? So when can you pinpoint and say this is where ignorance began? You can say this is where ignorance ends. In a room that is dark, can you say when the darkness began? Did it have a time when there was no darkness? Which means there should have been light. And if there is light, then there is no darkness. But we experience that there is darkness, right? So that darkness has no beginning, but it has an end. The moment you put on a light, darkness vanishes. So darkness is as though, it is as though what exists is only the light. It is darkness which is as though, but you cannot pinpoint and say this is where darkness began, because it's an illusion. That's the nature of ignorance.
Thank you, Brahmaraj. Thank you.
That is the power of Maya. No, it creates that veil that prevents us from seeing reality as it is. It plays, it's it creates so many, one after the other, illusion after an illusion, and we think that is real.
The causal body definition is that, right? Anadi and
Mm.
avidya.
Karana Sharira.
Right. Sorry. When you say
Yeah,
causal
that's the
body.
causal body. That's, of course,
Right.
yeah, that you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And avidya rupam and anirvachya, you cannot describe it. Can you describe ignorance? Anirvachya, anadi, avidya rupam. That is the karana shari. It is the form of avidya. It's the form of, and tatsva rupa ajnanam. It does not realize its true nature. That is the karana sharira. And every jiva has a karana sharira, which is the root cause. That is why it's called the causal body. And from there you get the stula sharira, which is in keeping, the sukshma sharira, which is in keeping with the stula sharira. So because Brahman is not just the creator of the universe, creator of the world, he is the world. So you cannot, and if he himself is in and through creation, how can you differentiate? How can you call him heartless or not having compassion or having prejudice? Someone is born lame, someone has no eyes, someone has a lot of wealth, someone does not have wealth. See, he is only the karma phala data. But who does the karma? Again, here if we start asking, how did the first karma start? That becomes an endless debate. Which came first, the hen or the egg? But let's begin with our understanding. In our own life right now, we know that every action will have its result. The karma phala will be there. And how that karma phala comes is dependent on so many factors, that kahana karmano gatihi. And Ishvara is only the karma phala data. It is our free will. Using our free will, we have a choice of action. And when we say action, it is not just action in the physical form, it's also thinking is also an action. Taking an intention is also an action. And therefore, it is very important for us to have high intentions. That's why Gurudev says, don't just pray for this, pray for this or something better than this. And yesterday I was just listening, someone, I think one of you had posted about Mongolia, maybe it was in our satsang group. Apparently, in Mongolia, there are about more than 70% of the population has done the art of living. And Gurudev was saying, when mothers come to see me with their little babies, they bring their babies to me. They say, please bless this baby to become enlightened, to be enlightened. They don't come asking, please make my baby an engineer or doctor or this or that, or give us wealth and give us this. No. The prayer is of the highest prayer. Make him enlightened. maybe he enlightened. So that is in our hands, no? That is our free will. And how we direct our life and what we get in life is all dependent on us. We get it, we make it, and we get it. See, you did it and you got it. You asked for it, which is why having those pure intentions are very important. Self-blame is not to be done. The moment you do self-blame, you're putting yourself in a negative spiral. So self-acceptance is very important. You will have to continue to have it because you keep asking for it. If you keep saying, I lack this, I lack this, I lack this, of course, that is what is going to increase. If you say, I have enough, I'm content, I'm happy, which is what Gurudev says again. He says, well, who has will be given more. And those who don't have, whatever little they have will be taken away from them. So this paragraph is very impactful in the sense we take that responsibility for our life, for our feelings, for our actions, for our inactions. Because we have a capacity of free will to perform action. You can do whatever you want to do, but the result is always something that is taken care of by the law. So that is understood, right? The result is not in our hands. We only have the capacity, the free will to do. So therefore, this paragraph, these two paragraphs should make it very clear to us in case someone questions, or even we have this question, how come there's so much disparity? How come this person has nothing at all? Why is there so much of human suffering? We've all had this question come up in our time, in our lives, one time or the other. Or even, why me? Forget about others. Why me? Why am I suffering so much? So this should give us the understanding that somewhere down the line we have actually asked for it. And it is in our prarabdha that whatever is happening is happening. And therefore, we also need to refine the way we are thinking. So the next paragraph will talk about the raga dveshas, right? So why at all is this understanding necessary? If anyone wants to say anything, please go ahead and say, huh? You can always voice yourself. To answer this question, we have to go a little more into the human psyche, defined here in the Gita as a psyche that operates on the basis of its own likes and dislikes, raga and dvesha. The entire Gita philosophy is dealt with in terms of raga and dvesha alone. No other norms are used. Raga and dvesha can be in an unspelled form or a spelled out form. You may not know that you have a liking for something until you happen to see it closely. Otherwise, how is it that even though you meet so many people every day, one day you suddenly meet someone you like a lot? Of all the people you have met and known, why this particular one? In fact, it is a wonder to your family and friends that you chose this person as a life partner when someone else, whom they thought more suitable, was already after you. There are a lot of likes and dislikes embedded in us which are not shaped properly. We may call them unconscious, subconscious, or whatever, but still they are unshaped likes and dislikes, meaning that they are not very clear to you. But they are evoked when situations appear before you. All these are included in the term raga dveshas. Raga is that which is pleasing or desirable to you, and dvesha is that which is undesirable in your view. Both raga and dvesha are purely according to you alone. They are totally limited to the individual. Wherever psychology is involved, you must always know that it is according to you alone. When you say some man did something wrong to you, it is only according to you. In fact, if you ask the man, he will say that he gave you what you deserved. Thus, it is always a matter of perception, yours and the other person's. So that is why we have to be, I think, and this is what I understand, is we should be open to new situations. And with respect to teachers, Gurudev says, you work with a teacher that you are not going along well with, rather than avoid. Normally, what do? We tend to avoid. Oh, this person is, it's difficult. He's a difficult person to work with. But then what are we doing? We're just giving in to our dvesha. You don't like that situation or that dealing with that person. So what do? You just avoid. And what is coming to the forefront? You're just following your dvesha. Whereas when you start working with this person, then you are actually giving yourself an opportunity to go beyond that dvesha. You're tackling it up front. So ragadveshas can be spelt or unspelt. And there's several hundreds, thousands, we do not know how many are embedded in us. And depending on the situation, they crop up. Maybe we can all share our own likes and dislikes and how they actually come up. Like one example that Swamiji is given is about the person, how he chooses his life partner. Of course, in the movies, that's what they show. How a person who's very wealthy, he or she falls for someone who's way below in the financial status, right? So we do not know what drives our likes, how they crop up, not what drives their likes. That's of course because of our past impressions, habits, and past impressions. And
Hariom, I think it is that prarabdha we have to suffer, or not suffer, we have to undergo. So accordingly, the meeting of a partner or the children's which you are having, so they are all destined to be like, we are destined to meet each other, so that prarabdha fructifies. We'll until unless that person is, we are not meeting that person, till then there is the waiting period. And when that the person with whom your prarabdha is attached, then you will get connected, and then he may be in, like, he may be in any state. He may be good looking, not good looking, wealthy or poor. It doesn't matter then. It is just your that connection. If it is made at that time, then it is all like, it is as if, you know, the puppets being played, that they are destined to meet each other, and that is how that prarabdha will fructify further. Because it is said, no, the souls with the souls with which we are living today, they were in the past also, they were there with us, because the give and take was there in our past life. So uh, that hasn't completed yet. So it again, they will be meeting in the next life to give and take whatever exchanges which were left, whether it be emotional, physical, personal, like anything you, at any grounds you can think of, because family and worldly matter is like it at all level, emotional, physical, professional, everything. This is how I like. I take it like as again, it, you know, it when I read these astrologies, horoscopes, that is what I found, that every family has a horoscope, something common in their horoscope. If you take the horoscope of a total family, like the children and the parents, there will be some similarity in their planets which are situated in the various houses. So it is that give and take happening from the past, which we are carrying, and then in this life it is again predestined that this is how it would be. Like sometimes we see, the mother is doing so much for the children, and sometimes we see that the children are doing so much for their parents. And same is the case with the husband and wife. Sometimes the wife is more she's more attentive to the husband's need, and sometimes it is the opposite. So it is always this give and take happening as coming from the past.
Yes, I second that. And there is a term called Runanubandha. When we see the chart matching the chart for a boy and a girl, there is one aspect is seen at the end, that is Runanubandha. If they are supposed to be meeting or not, that one aspect is also seen. And the first house and the seventh house exactly opposite, which is your first house is yourself, the seventh house in the chart is your spouse. They are exactly opposite, which would be like a mirror, which would bring out the worst and the best out of you. The spouse and spouse will bring the worst out of you or the best out of you.
And sometimes the very favorable planets are there. So that means that you had a good connection in your past, and then you will be enjoying this life with that what you have labored throughout your past life. And if you have not done you have not good deal with your in your past, then the planets which will be sitting in the seventh house, they will be all malefic, and they'll not be like conducive in this life. This is what I see, when we say now that they don't have any compatibility, these two husband wife, they don't have any compatibility. And if we see the charts, we see that even if that person would have married second person, then also she would have suffered, because her planet's position are so that she'll have to undergo whoever the person may be, because she has to fructify those past deeds which she had committed. This is the blueprint which we always talk about. I take this blueprint as our own horoscope, which we come with. We are born with that screenshot.
But
that
you
happens.
can't do anything about it, right? I mean, once the
You
person
can't do. You can't do. But
born.
one thing you can do when you know it. when you know it, that knowledge dawns that this is how the things are. So that acceptance come, and then you start accepting the person opposite to you in a more positive way. When you are in ignorance, you are always complaining. But when you come to know that this is, sorry, this is how it is should be,
So,
then you know you start accepting it, taking it to be your prarabdha karma, as we are discussing here. Take it
And
as a prarabdha karma, and then you can carry along.
yeah,
with
and
less
you
uncomfort.
work on the weaknesses of
Yeah,
yourself, or the
of yourself.
acceptance. The
Right.
active acceptance will be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So I thank you, but that gives us the aspect of destiny. Why we are getting what we are getting right now in life, right? So I just have this thing. Thank you, Mrinal, for bringing this Runanubandha Rupena. I remember Nana would always say this in so many ways, different situations. This we would mention. Runanubandha Rupena Pashu Patni Sutalaya. Runakshaye Kshaya Yanti Tatra Ka Parivedana. This is actually from the Padma Purana. I've just Googled this thing because I remember this Runanubandha Rupena Pashu Patni Sutalaya. So even our pets, or are your spouse, your children, are all because of Runanubandha. And Runakshaye Kshaya Yanti Tatra it's here it says Parivedana, but it's actually Tatra Ka Parivedana, which is, why do you have to uh, uh, you know not accept it? There's no need for you to feel bad about it, because there is nothing in your hand, so to say. The blueprint was already created by you, and therefore you're getting what you are getting right now. And once that Runanubandha is exhausted, then that ends. Which is why Gurudev also said, and this is in our knowledge, when you look at things, people come together. Maybe it is because of the soul that needs to be born from these two. And sometimes once the baby is born, that is it, that Runanubandha probably gets over, so they separate. But having said all of that, that is the aspect of destiny, that is the aspect of our karma phala. But what do we have? What is the choice we have? What is our active participation in our own life right now? Where we need to take responsibility is the aspect of our free will. You can go on lamenting, saying, oh, me, poor me, poor me. But it is up to you. You take a stance and say, yes, this is what my situation is right now, and I take responsibility for it. That is why pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So you say, I'm not going to suffer. I'm going to smile through the difficulties I'm going through. Then you have started walking the path, the reverse direction. The earlier we talked about, Swamiji talked about how the river flowing in the reverse direction. That is our active use of our free will. Otherwise, we are no better. We're just getting tossed and turned over by life situations. And we are helplessly taken away by that. There is an element where we do not have any control of, that is the karma phala. But where we can exercise our choice of action, of thought, of deed, is the free will. And that is what is, and how we tackle our raga dveshas. See, very, very important. Otherwise, we will continue to accrue more raga dveshas, and we'll continue to have more more likes. Because every time we give in to a raga or a dvesha, what are we accruing? We are accruing the karma phala according to that. And it is like we are creating more and more vasanas, more and more impressions. And unless these are all exhausted, you will continue to have life after life. So it is only with this jnana khadgena, with the sword of knowledge, that we can cut them asunder.
Jai Gurudev Brahmaraji. Very, very beautiful explanation about the Runanubandha. Could you please say that shloka or maybe put on the group, please? That
Yeah.
Runanubandha shloka.
Let me just take a screenshot of this. Yeah. Got it in English. Yeah,
It is from Padma Purana, right?
it says it's from Padma Purana.
Okay. Dhanyavad.
Now with the AI, you're getting so much information the minute you put in the Google.
Mm.
Yeah. Anything you want to see, you can get it.
Only thing Google can't give us is
The self-realization.
enlightenment, right? Of course,
Enlightenment.
it helps us, it aids us, but that is
Yeah.
one thing that you can't get from Google
Yeah,
or
the
AI.
guy who did the AI, that in Google, he got the Nobel Prize, right? So talking about intuition or this carbon print, of course, is not there. And I was thinking about the self. We're doing this Atmajnana so much. Oh my God. The way the AI goes and it's going to rule the world, looks
Yeah,
like.
these rag, these are fine things that we're discussing these days.
Mm.
It's unless we really look deep within,
Mm-hmm.
understand how ragadveshas crop up. It's
Right.
all again about being aware, no? So that is where our sadhana helps. It
Mm-hmm.
helps us in becoming aware.
Right.
A person who's not even doing sadhana, not in onto this path, is not
Mm-hmm.
even aware of what thoughts come up, what thoughts go. They're just
Mm.
living very mechanical life.
Right.
Eat, sleep, make merry, and then finally kick the bucket. Right?
Mm.
But
Yeah.
having been exposed to this, our
Mm-hmm.
self-effort, our purushartha here is to refine our thoughts, refine our with awareness, say, oh, this is what is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why chanting Gita and remembering the shlokas again it comes to our help, isn't it? So matra sparshastu kamteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agama payino nitya tam stitikshasva bharata. So the
Mm-hmm.
moment you go, whenever the senses meet the sense objects, there is the pair of duality that comes up. Duality shows up there. You will have pairs of opposites showing up: joy, sorrow, heat,
Mm.
cold, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to endure them, go through them, endure them.
But we are not getting rid of Ragadveshas, right? I mean, just in the sense, um, this
Yeah, we're not getting rid. We're just being aware of
being
binding and
aware of it.
non-binding ragadveshas.
Okay, right. You said the other time we talked about we are not bound to that Ragadveshas.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what
So
I
the
keep
avoidance.
reminding.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
But you
No,
can
I'm
have
just saying
different
to
points.
take out. Home point is that non-binding Ragadveshas. I mean, even if you have the desire, that type of thing of non-binding and the karma yoga part.
But we can have preferences, they say, for Raga Dvesha.
Correct.
Yeah.
Preferences is as long as they're not binding you,
Yes.
it's fine. You cannot live life otherwise, no? See, the having raga dveshas is inevitable. We are not talking of getting rid of raga dvesha. No. We're talking about coming out of and neutralizing them, coming out of their hold. We should have them, not they having us.
Strong likes and
non-binding.
strong likes and dislikes are impediment for our growth. So
That is why
Like they should be non-binding, right?
non-binding.
That-
That is why Gurudev says you must not use words like I hate. That is a very strong impression. Yeah. So, I know, I remember China would mention in the Gita classes he would take, sometimes he would just take one shloka and there would be several sessions in that shloka. And then he would jocularly say, oh, we're stuck in the same thing, we're not moving further. For me, it seems like this shloka is like that. It is like we are doing it over and over again, but I think it is well worth that we.
Yeah, I agree. The more we are combing through this each and every word of it, I mean, like even this difficult point, right? We talk about Raga Dveshas all this 2 years we've been, not 3 years, we're reading. And then finally we got how you can still have it, but not have that control, like controlling you, the Raga Dvesha controlling you, that's what we don't want. And like here, it mentioned, even we make for Ganesha this modaka, that what Ganesha likes or Shiva likes this Abhishek or whatever, the way we project ourselves, our own likes and dislikes.
Correct.
Seems like it. I don't know exactly. I mean, in the Karma Kanda part, maybe that's what the Shastra says. I don't know that. That's the way we are always we observed and learned things, right, from our parents or elders. This is what they do, because for Gokulashtami means you have to do murukku, cedar, whatever that things like that. Each we also feel our gods and goddesses also prefer something like that because of our own impressions, I think.
Yeah, I think.
That is mostly because of uh, the energies are aligned towards certain grains or
Mm.
certain kind of food, like the Guru Graha, he likes sweets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the grains, maybe Brahmaraji might explain this. The
Mm-hmm.
animal, the bird, or our energies, like
Mm-hmm.
Kula Devata, we say Kula Devata,
Right.
because
Uh-huh.
our energies are aligned in that certain way. So the deity Ganpati likes sweets, kind of,
Mm.
yeah. So
I
it's like, and maybe the regional coconuts are grown so much in that area, so you make out of it some sweet. So
Yeah,
that is how,
that is true. What is
yeah,
available, I can
available plus the
understand.
energy. I mean,
Yeah.
certain
Mm.
gods might like the bitterness also, bitter sweets also, certain
Yeah.
grains also. So out of that, the sweets were made,
Made.
and
Uh-huh.
whatever was available, the
In the
grain,
old
the
days, we weren't getting sweets like nowadays, right? Nowadays,
yeah,
every day we have sweet. The
correct,
old days, there's only like that kind of festivals or days only they do special
yeah.
food.
So
Otherwise,
correct,
that may be another reason I thought they'll have this kind of foods those
Like
days and then having festivity.
Hanuman, Shani
Yeah.
Dev, they are all, I think, Vayu or the air element is more. So till is offered, or till laddus are offered.
Oh,
This is
okay.
what I somehow I feel that it could be like that. The
No, it makes sense, right? Like nowadays, we don't do any of the specific ones, whatever, because of our convenience and stuff like that. But I still think I kept thinking about it the other day, why we need to do this. At least knowing the reason, we may do it a little bit better. Anyway, that's good to know.
Even that,
and
as
also,
long as it doesn't become binding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Correct. Ganesha likes modak, but for some reason you're not able to do the modak. Then just offer prasada as anything. Patram,
Yeah.
pushpam, phalam, toyam. So,
Right.
I think all this is good as long as we understand the the,
The use
the
for it.
principles
Yeah.
and the value behind it, and
Yeah.
and then let go.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I know of some people who are very sticklers for, this is how it should be done, this is how, even if you deviate little bit, they say, oh, it is very, that is again binding. So,
Yeah.
and when you're able to do it, yes, very well, follow the tradition and keep the tradition up, absolutely
Mm-hmm.
fine. And I think it is also dependent on the season. Depending on the
True.
season, there are different, like till, for instance, is very good during winter because it increases the body heat.
Body heat. Uh-huh.
So you have so many of those that are done during Ram Navami. They give panakam, which is very good because it's usually in the peak of in summer. So that's the
Mm.
coolant. So I think there are several factors that are ingrained into how our Indian traditional food and all that is there. And let's
Yeah.
respect that. I mean, it's out of years of observation and following culture and tradition that it is kept. And it's good to continue that parampara, which is fine. That is on one aspect of it. But
Yeah. It's not always
coming from a
possible to
broader
do it.
sense, broader
Yeah.
aspect,
Mm.
you understand why it is there, and let go. If you're able to do, very good. If you're not able to do, also, don't beat yourself up saying, oh, I was not able to do it.
Mm.
So having that, yeah. It just occurred to me before we continue this is I just wanted to check how many of us here are
Mm.
attending the Sanyam 2
I am
in
attending, Brahmaraji, I am attending.
in the first week of May,
Yeah. Second, third, fourth, fifth.
second, third, fourth. The reason
is
I'm
it
asking,
online? Is it online?
no, it's not online. This is basically only for those for Indian nationals who are residing in India. So
What
this is
is
not
what is
open.
this? What is it?
This is Sanyam. This is it's an advanced level course in the art
Course, I
of
see.
living. So you should have done Sanyam 1 before being eligible for Sanyam 2.
Taking to. Oh,
The
I see.
reason I'm asking is because we remember we wanted Percy ji to talk about the Patanjali Yoga Sutras.
Yeah, glaciers. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, in case any one of you is going for the Sanyam, it might be useful to have his session before you attend. So it will be useful and helpful because Sanyam again is all about, it's a gist of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So if you're all fine, we will request him to.
It'll be great. It will be very nice for Brahmaraj.
So today is, I would think this one might go on for another. So Percy ji, let us know when you are able to do it.
I can do it anytime. You all fix the date up. Whatever is suitable to you, I'm free right now.
Yeah, I know you said you had some corporate programs coming up, no?
But they are all during daytime, working hours. Corporate programs are usually in working hours.
Okay.
Government programs are early in the morning. And I have to reach there wherever that site is. So that is a little difficult. But right now I'm not having it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
this week could be helpful. Yeah.
So shall we do this after we finish this sloka, and we'll put a break, put a pause on this. This is
Okay.
48th verse. Although this is a train, we'll come back to this after we finish
Mm.
the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So,
Yeah.
how many days or sessions would you require, Parsiji?
I really don't know. Like it all depends upon
Once we
your
start.
interest.
Correct.
Uh,
So, let's start
I've got.
then.
We'll start off. I'll send all the slides to you,
Hmm.
and I only need your email ID because I'll have to
I
get
gave,
somebody to.
yeah.
Acha, you.
I already gave you my email ID. So, you
Acha,
can post it.
okay.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
I'll
email it.
have the slides sent to you, and
Right.
then we can get started any moment whenever you say so.
We can start. We'll start from maybe today is Monday, Tuesday. Should we start from Wednesday,
Sure.
from 30th?
Yes, no issues.
Matiji, when is the Siam starting?
On second, Brahmaraji.
Oh,
Oh, second, then it might be then. So then should we start from tomorrow then?
yeah, okay.
Hmm? Because it might take a couple of days, no? So for it to be
Yeah.
useful for those that are
I
attending.
know that the first two sessions are very important
Huh.
because the very first few sutras which are there, they need a lot of explanations.
Hmm.
And then klish, taklish, vrittis, which are there. Once you understand what is chit, what is vrittis, then my job is done. Like, and how to overcome it.
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to check with you, all of you, is this the best time, or should we have a separate time for the Patanjali Yoga Sutras?
I
If
think this is the best time, at
okay,
least for me.
then let's stay with
You
this.
know, on Wednesday, yeah, I have one class between 6:30 to 7:30, but then
Not
you
Wednesday.
you
We'll
start
start from tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Initially, I thought we'll continue this, but we can always come back, do the 47th verse again, and then go to 48th to have this train of thought here in the
Yeah.
second chapter. So let
Okay.
us do Patanjali Yoga Sutras from tomorrow.
Okay. Good. Thank
So
you.
Thank you
that,
so much, Brahmaraji.
yeah, then it makes those that are attending Sayam, it makes it will help them. Okay, so I think we'll stop here today. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
तीन बार ओंकार करते हैं, सब रीढ़ की हड्डी सीधा रखें। गहरी सांस लीजिए और छोड़ें। ओ Nothing around us is real, neither this body or the world. शरीर और हमारे परिसर में जो भी है ये सब समाप्त हो जाने की ही है। ये कुछ भी सत्य नहीं। हमारे भीतर एक बिंदु है, सिर्फ वही सत्य है। There is a tiny dot inside of you. Only that is truth. That doesn't change. You are a witness to everything. आप सबके साक्षी हो। मुस्कुराते मुस्कुराते एक सांस लीजिए और मुस्कुराते मुस्कुराते छोड़े। Breathe in with a smile and breathe out with a smile. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Then slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may open your eyes.